Hello, hello. Welcome to NeuroDynamic Breathwork with me, Christina Jewell. First, we're going to go over some rules for safety to make sure everybody has a safe space here. So this is confidential. What happens here stays here. You're welcome to share your own experience after the session, but not someone else's in a way that they can be identified. No audio or video recording or photos of any part of the session. Please keep political opinion statements out of the sharing circle, which is following the music. We want to make sure it is safe for everybody. And if you do have a graphic or intense share, just give an intensity warning before you do share that. A big part is to do no harm, so keep yourself and others safe. Some contraindications: you should not participate if any of these are issues. If you are under the age of 18, you need a prior written parental consent. If you are pregnant, please just listen to the music or do not participate. If you have high blood pressure that is not controlled with medication, cardiovascular disease and or irregularities, including prior heart attack, aneurysms, if either you have had one or more than one person in your immediate family has had one, including parents, siblings, children. If you have a history of strokes, seizures, or mini strokes, which are TIAs. If you're taking prescription blood thinning or anti-clotting medications, epilepsy, detached retina, glaucoma, or osteoporosis that is serious enough whereby moving around actively could cause physical damage to your body. Now, asthma, you are welcome to breathe, but make sure you have your inhaler handy. Continuing on with these, if you have a prior diagnosis by a healthcare professional of bipolar or schizophrenia, if you've had hospitalization for any psychiatric condition or serious emotional crisis in the past 10 years, such as attempted suicide, nervous breakdown, or psychotic break. Now, for PTSD, many people have found profound healing experiences, but if you currently are having severe PTSD, it may not be the best time to do it. Make sure to check in before doing the breath work. It is extremely important that you have a solid support structure to work with whatever might come up. Sometimes things come up during the session and you have to have a willingness to process through those emotions and have that support system for after the session is over for the coming days and weeks. If you've had a recent head injury or other physical injuries that are not fully healed and could be re-injured through intense movement, or any other medical, psychiatric, or physical conditions which would impair or affect your ability to engage in activities involving intense physical, emotional, any issues from the past being brought up for processing and release. Always get clarification if any of these are a question. So for setup, we suggest having water, a closed container is best, tissues, eye mask or blindfold. That is highly recommended. The one that I use has little kind of cups over the eyes so that I can still open my eyes. I do highly recommend that as well. Pillows, blankets, journal and pen, chapstick, a small plastic bag just in case any gagging or vomiting wants to come up for release. It is very rare, so it is not the end of the world if you don't have that, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. And make sure you will not be disturbed during the music. It can be extremely jarring to have an interruption when you are in a process. If you're in person, this doesn't apply, but if we're doing this online, you can choose to have your video on or off. That is one of my favorite parts about having it online, is that you can have that option to be comfortable however you're comfortable. And this is an eyes closed experience. It really pulls you out of the process to have your eyes open. So make sure to follow that. 5 things to help you drop in as deeply as possible into the process. These are extremely important. Tune into the body. Number 1, check in with yourself. Tune into the body first. Tune into your emotions and your feelings. and allow them to express. If that means movement, let yourself be moved by the music. If sound comes up, we strongly encourage that. If you are afraid of being too loud, you can always have a pillow next to you. Make sure doors, windows are closed, and or people are aware that you're going to be doing something like that. And let the music carry you. It's very powerful. It is designed to help you have a journey, and it is designed to help you get into some kind of experience. So let's go over how to breathe. For NeuroDynamic Breathwork, we breathe in and out through the mouth, at least to start. You can always switch, and often it switches to whatever kind of breathing later in the session. That is completely fine, but breathing in and out through the mouth, at least to start. It is most important to get full diaphragmatic breaths, feeling your belly rise with every in-breath, and just letting it go naturally. This should fill your lungs to 90 to 95% capacity. It shouldn't hurt, shouldn't be forced. So just keep your body relaxed. You'll be breathing a little faster than usual and continuously with no gaps. There is zero pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. It is not a fast, shallow breath. The depth is much more important than the speed. So it will sound like this. Okay, some breathing tips. Once you have dropped into an experience, your breath may change. Again, that's fine. Trust your process, trust your body's wisdom. It fluctuates. Sometimes it goes in waves. Sometimes you can hold your breath or even be barely breathing at times. Mostly this is when you're not thinking about it, and that is actually a great sign. Again, your body may switch to nose breathing. A lot of people do that, especially at the last tracks. Sometimes your breath may slow way down. It may even feel like you are sleeping, but you could be experiencing a deep healing state of stillness, which is called a yoga trance or yoga nidra state, and that's a really great sign. You don't have to be concerned about doing the breathing properly. This was something that came up for me quite a bit at the beginning of my journey. There is no such thing as doing it wrong. Trust your body. If you are releasing emotions or if you are immersed in some kind of journey, you're good to go. If you feel stuck or like nothing is happening, a lot of the time that is because our mind or our psyche is creating some kind of stuckness in order for you to feel the emotion of, often it's perceived negative emotions like frustration, disappointment, or anger. And this can bring it up so that you can release it. So ask yourself if it's bringing up any emotions for you. If yes, dive into it, make sounds, move, be as frustrated as you can be as disappointed as you can be. Give yourself that permission. Sometimes thoughts pop in that are meant to trigger something, and sometimes it is what's for lunch and is this almost done and nothing's happening. In that second case, the rule of thumb is whenever you're stuck in the thinking mind, the chit-chat mind, you can always go back to the breathing technique if that feels right for you. Remember, something is always happening, whether it is subtle or powerful. The basic principles here at NeuroDynamic Breathwork are trust and surrender. So all of us have an inner guiding intelligence inside of us. Our very number one principle is to trust that. Trust the process. This doesn't come from our thinking mind. The whole goal is to get out of the thinking mind. So just like a cut heals itself, so does our psyche when we're out of our thinking mind. NeuroDynamic Breathwork is an invitation to practice trusting that inner healer that's guiding your experience. Let go of expectations. Let yourself be surprised. Oftentimes that's when something will happen. There's no verbal guidance during the breathwork. Everything is guided by your inner guiding intelligence. And our second principle, surrender. As you open to trusting your inner guidance, you also work on surrendering to it. Blocks, stuck issues, those all begin to release when we can stop resisting it and actually surrendering to it. Again, like I said, if you're feeling frustration or anger, be as frustrated or angry as you can. Give yourself that permission to really surrender into those feelings. A phrase we like to say here is, the way past is through, not around, and what you resist will persist. So give yourself permission to feel the full catastrophe of the human experience, both the good and the challenging. Experiences come when you are ready to receive them, and none are better or worse. The breath simply opens the door to what is ready to be moved or felt. So the difference between being in the mind and letting go of the mind. Some of you will drop into an experience with little to no effort. Let yourself be guided however that goes. Others of you may find it more challenging to drop in and allow that thinking mind to let go. So remember, whatever you are experiencing is your process. The more you can accept what's happening and surrender to it, the more likely you will be able to drop into some kind of experience. And by drop in, I mean having some kind of experience that starts happening, whether it's emotions or just feelings coming up in your body or anything that's happening, that is dropping in. And oftentimes you can drop in and out throughout the course of one session. So let that be part of your process. And a lot of the time, our ego mind will put in some defenses, things like fear, anxiety, sleepiness, avoidance, distraction. Again, really feel into those things. Where have I felt this before? Dive into them. About the music is extremely powerful. It is meant to evoke. The first third is high energy, tribal, drumming, lots of rhythm. It helps get your breathing going. The middle third still has a lot of rhythm, but it's more melodic. It can take you more on a journey. And again, it can be intense at any time. And the last third is when it begins to slow down. There's a heartful period and ends with some gentle, slow, meditative music. We recommend not stopping in the middle. The slower music at the end is some of the most important because it helps your integration. Some types of experiences you may have. Body and sensory experiences are extremely common. This includes movement, hot, cold, shaking, tension or release, twitching, itching, farting, burping, numbness, release of bioenergy stuck in the body from past trauma, etc. Anytime you suppress an emotion into your body, there's an energetic tension or block that's attached to it. So a lot of the times that can come up for release. You may also feel movement of energy, buzzing, chi flow. There's a lot of names for that kind of energy. Sometimes it can be really strong. Many breathers experience something called tetany. It is a release of tension. It's very common. That's when your hands or your feet will really, almost like claw hands, where you almost can't move them because they are so tense. It resolves by the end or shortly after, and that is a releasing of tension. Sexual energy or orgasmic experiences can come up. That is our second chakra. It's a natural human response. Let it flow through however you feel comfortable with that. Pains, tensions, sensations, releases of all kinds. This is a great gateway into healing. Moving on to emotions and emotional release. When we quiet our mind, we bring in less emotional overwhelm. We can release stored stress or emotions. This gives us more confidence and emotional ease afterward. And this gives us access to our unconscious mind, thinking patterns, beliefs, things that are holding you back. So some common things to happen are crying, laughing, screaming, moaning, sound releases of any kind. Very normal and very healing for you. Moving on to transpersonal experiences. Feelings of connection, unity, meaning, oneness, deeper connection to yourself or the planet. connections with people who've passed away, past life experiences, lineage or ancestral healings. You can have dreamlike visions, spiritual experiences, visual experiences like psychedelic type of visuals. You can get insights into life issues that are happening for you right now that will give you an aha moment or a sense of clarity, like things clicking. People experience rebirthing. You can also have biographical memories, which you may re-experience things from your past from different perspectives, where you can even see a younger version of yourself. You can also, like I mentioned before, go into a state of deep relaxation, and this includes yoga trance or yoga nidra experiences. And these are very, very deep healing. So let's go into what the research shows. Conscious, connected breathing has been shown to shift brain activity, decreases delta and theta waves, which are linked to inhibition, rumination, and depression. It decreases low beta waves associated with stress, anxiety, and overthinking. It increases gamma activity in experienced practitioners or people who are doing it more on a more regular basis. And this is linked to integration, insight, and higher order awareness. So it can give you an improved mood, an emotional state, reducing tension, confusion, depression, and anger, and increased self-esteem. Emotional improvements correlated with measurable brain changes. They have actually measured and studied the changes that can happen in your brain from doing this kind of breathing. Induced non-ordinary states of consciousness. This can be comparable to medium to high doses of psilocybin. So just from the breathing, we can access these non-ordinary states of consciousness. It gets high scores in unity, interconnectedness, insightfulness, spiritual or mystical experiences, and very low levels of fear or ego dissolution, supporting your emotional safety. So what does all that mean? Boiled down, breathwork supports nervous system regulation and emotional release and safety. So some reminders are to trust your process. Subtle experiences can be as powerful as dramatic ones. Surrender to the moment. Thank yourself for giving yourself the gift of breathwork. And let go. Let life flow through you in whatever way it wants to. Let go of your expectations for the session. A lot of times people want a dramatic experience, and when you have that, that's an expectation for the session. Let that go. Make sure everything that happens is part of the process. Process until the end. Don't stop in the middle. As I said, the last few tracks are critical for your integration. And remember, inner guiding intelligence. Trust that the deeper part of you has those answers that you are looking for. If it comes up, it is ready to be processed and released as much as it can be. I will be here at any point if you need me during the session for support. Some other important points and suggestions. Again, this is an eyes closed experience. We recommend an eye mask. And again, there's no facilitator guidance or talking once the music starts, unless there's a technical difficulty. In that point, I will let you know that. This process is guided from within, and everyone's experience will be different. This can be done seated or lying down. And if you are breathing with others, make sure that you will be able to surrender and express yourself as fully as you need to, and to allow the other person to experience without interfering, and vice versa, if they can do the same for you. If you are doing this online, we recommend closing all computer windows and internet tabs except for Zoom. So what will happen next? We will do a sound check. Then you'll have 2 minutes to get set up. And I will then guide you into a short meditation to bring you into your body. There'll be a couple minutes of breathing instructions. Then the music and the breathing session will start. After the music is over, I will bring you back in with a short guided meditation. There'll be 2 minutes of silence to kind of gather yourself, maybe write a few notes, draw a mandala, anything like that. And then we will end with a sharing circle, which is an extremely important way to support your integration. Often hearing others' experiences will even deepen the experience that you may have had. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move into the sound check, and then you can get yourself set up.